Hmm. Arizona football just gets through one of the more bizarre cases in Arizona football recruiting history. We'll talk about that, the running back position, and a lot more.
You are Locked On Wildcats, your daily podcast on the Arizona Wildcats. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
I'm your host, Mike Luke, and the show is brought to you today by Gametime. All kinds of good stuff at Gametime. Check it out. All right, now we got a lot to get to this show, but first, we're going to talk about the very, very curious case of Jacory Croskey-Merritt. All right, I like the kid out of New Mexico. I think he's good. I think that I watched him, and I'm like, man, this guy could really be a problem for the U of A. He's pretty big. He can move. He can make people miss. There's a lot to like about his game, a lot to like about it. And then you start hearing that Arizona's looking at other running backs, and you start wondering, you're like, all right, what's going on here? This doesn't make total sense. And it didn't make total sense for a reason. That is because it appears that Jacory Croskey-Merritt is out of eligibility. I have never heard of somebody that has entered the portal that is out of eligibility, but he is apparently out of eligibility. And it goes back to Alabama State, put him down as a red shirt his first year when he played in 9 games. He went back and he deleted a bunch of some highlights, some news from that. But it doesn't appear that he is eligible. And he was on a low-key visit to Texas A&M, and the registrars found that one out, and they basically said that you can't come to Texas A&M. So Arizona got wind of that, looked at it, and they're like, well, we like you, but if you can't play for us, then we're going to have to move on. And that is exactly what Arizona has done. I think a big thing about it is that it's too bad. But Arizona obviously is moving on. It just baffles me in this day and age, though, that we are at the point where a kid could enter the transfer portal and Power 5, big-time schools, your Arizonas, your A&Ms, your Ole Misses are recruiting him, and he probably can't play. Now, I think Ole Miss figured this one out as well, because Ole Miss has gone out and added another running back. But it just goes to show you that, things can be weird, but sooner or later, you're going to find out what's going on. But that makes a lot of sense, because I loved Arizona's running back room with Croskey-Merritt. I thought with Croskey-Merritt, Conley, and Fam, boom, love them. We would talk about it. We will talk about all of those. We'll also talk about Fam 2.0 coming up here on the show. So let's talk about what this means. With Croskey-Merritt obviously out of the situation, I'd imagine he'll declare for the supplemental draft or, something like that. I don't know. But he's obviously out of the equation. And so now we got to talk about where the other players stand. Damien Martinez. Arizona is not getting Damien Martinez. Now, I like Damien Martinez a lot. Shout out to Prim. Martinez is probably the best running back in the portal. Well, it might be that Quinshawn Judkins kid or whatever, but Martinez is right there. He's really, really good. And he is that big proverbial power back. It's 6'1", 235 pounds. Probably a dude that's going to play in the NFL at some stage. Really, really good football player. Like him a lot. But he was never coming to Arizona. Now, Arizona obviously thought they had a chance with him. That's why you bring him on campus. I don't have any qualms with bringing him on campus, because it can't hurt. But he was always going to Miami. Miami was able to pay him more, and that is probably just a better fit for him. Obviously, he liked the fit. Now, like I said, I like Damien Martinez. He's a good football player, but it's also not the end of the world. But it does mean that Arizona is going to be in the market for another running back. and another running back could be a variety of different people. The guy from I think it's Toledo, Penny Toon, great name, Penny Toon. He is he's somebody to certainly keep an eye on. He is quite good, and not only is he quite good, but he would also kind of fit that power back mold. We'll have more names as it goes on, but Arizona is squarely in the market for another running back. But I can say that Zoe Carter very much likes two of the backs on this team, and we are going to get to those backs. But Arizona, Alonzo Carter is one of the better thought of running back coaches in the entire country. Everybody likes him, and everybody likes him because he knows what he's doing. And that is a big thing. And he's a good dude. He's a good dude. Like I said, I wish Jed Fish nothing but ill at Washington, but Scotty Graham is a good dude. Like Scotty Graham a great deal. And I think Alonzo Carter is very, very much of that same ilk. And so we will find out. But Damien Martinez was never coming here. And honestly, Jacory Croskey-Merritt is still one of the more bizarre stories that I have ever heard of. I don't know how we get along this far. I'll be curious to see if something ever happens to Alabama State on this, because there was something in play here that probably shouldn't have happened. I don't know exactly what that was, but there was clearly something in play. Now, let's talk Quali Conley. Obviously, Arizona likes Quali Conley a great deal, and there's a reason why. At San Jose State, he averaged almost 6 yards per pop, 7 yards per pop at times, and it wasn't like he did that on 25 carries. He did that on, with flirting with 1,000 yards, and he's good. He is, he's not necessarily a power back, but he's bigger than Fam. But, he's kind of in that 210-pound realm. I like him. I think he's a good football player, and I think that Arizona can do a lot with him. So we're going to find out about exactly what Quali Conley can do, but I do like him, and I think that he's going to fit in very well in the Big 12. I think he's going to be, there's going to be a rotation of three backs. There's no doubt about it. It's going to be Quali Conley, Fam, and then one other person. So we're going to find out exactly who those players are. But Conley's good. Conley can make people miss. Conley, when he gets into the open field, he can break one to a certain extent. And again, anybody that kind of pops up the yards that he was able to throw up this past year, or during his time at San Jose State, he's good. He's also a very mature guy. Alonzo Carter's not bringing him in if he doesn't think that he's a mature dude. And so there's certainly that. So like I said, I'm very, very optimistic about Quali Conley. And honestly, I thought it would have been a great backfield with all three of them, but that obviously was not meant to be. So Arizona will still be in the market for a power back, but Quali Conley is going to kind of be the jack of all trades who can do a little bit of everything, and not only a little bit of everything, maybe a little bit more than some people even think. But he's a player that I think you could probably pencil in for being somewhere around, I don't know, 600-700 yards this year. Arizona last year had a very successful three-back rotation where you had, I almost suggested, where you had obviously Jonah Coleman, DJ Williams, Michael Wiley. And I think you're going to see something very similar to that this year. And honestly, I don't think that there's going to be that much of a drop-off, if any, because like I said, I like Conley a great deal. Also, clearly like Fam. Think Fam's going to have a big season. And I think Fam is going to let people know where Fam has been. So there is all that. Now, we're going to talk about Fam, but first, game time. All right, Arizona football is good. We are a football school, ladies and gentlemen. Check it out. Download the Game Time app today. Use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off. Again, $20 off. Very, very good stuff. Now, the cool thing about Game Time, too, is it's not just for basketball. It is for sports. It is for concerts. It is for events. And Jason Shearer even mentioned when he was at the Alamo Bowl that a guy was saying to him one time, he goes, yeah, he's like, Shearer's like, yeah, the game's in 3 hours. How are you going to get there? He's like, oh yeah, I don't worry about it. I've got one of the, I got the Game Time app. And he's like, okay, cool. And the Game Time app had him covered as it always does. Check it out. William Brad Alice uses the Game Time app for all of his crappy rock concerts. And FanDuel. FanDuel. All right. Now, anybody watching the NBA playoffs? It is awesome. It is fun. Lots of buzzer beaters going on, and it is even more enjoyable if you are betting on the game. Check it out, FanDuel.com/lockedon. Very good stuff. And I think a big part of it, too, that's also really cool about it is that FanDuel is the spot where you know that your money is good, and you can bet before the game, during the game. You can bet props. You can bet all kinds of stuff. And you will thank me later on it. Again, FanDuel.com/lockedon. There's a reason that everybody is using it. Thanks for keeping it locked on Wildcats and making this your first listen of the day. I am your host, Mike Luke. All right, now. Let's talk about FAM, and we're going to talk about another FAM in a second. But Speedy Luke, my guy. All right, I never understood last year or the year before why Jedd Fisch refused to use FAM. And it never made any sense. It was always a self-fulfilling prophecy from Jedd Fisch. He would always say something to the effect of, well, he can't play FAM because he fumbles. And you'd be like, Coach, we're at every practice. He doesn't fumble. Oh, well, you just can't take that risk. Blah, 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 blah. Pfft, bunch of crap. FAM can play. We've seen FAM when he gets out there. He's got a burst that nobody else has. There's a reason that he was the MVP of the Army All-American Bowl. And he will continue to do that. FAM is the man. FAM is awesome. And I love the role. I think he's going to get 10 to 15 touches per game this year. That's what I need out of FAM, 10 to 15 touches. I think a lot of people are like, oh, Mike, he can't be a 30 carry per game guy. I never said he could be a 30 carry per game guy, but I do like him a great deal. And he is, when he's coming out of the backfield, you got to worry about him. When he's in the, some kind of wheel route, some kind of sweep, you got to worry about him. But just as importantly, I want FAM returning kicks. Now, I know that the kick is going the way of the Buffalo. I get all of that. I don't care. I want FAM out there, and he's got to have 10 to 15 touches. That's what I ask for. And people got to remember, too, he's also a lot bigger than people think now. Speedy Luke is much bigger than people think. Now, again, he's never going to be 225 pounds. That he doesn't have that body type. But he's probably about 180, 185, something like that. And he's really well put together kid, and he's able to break, like I said, and he hasn't lost any of his speed. This is somebody that this new staff is going to utilize, and I know for a fact that Alonzo Carter is a big fan of FAM. We should all be big fans of FAM because FAM is good, and he's a good kid. So that's kind of where it is with that. And again, people, you also need to remember as well that this is also the dude that really kind of showed out in the this is a guy that was a 4-star kid for a reason out of Bosco. And playing in the best league in the country, he stuck out and could have gone to a lot of different places. But last coaching staff obviously didn't really want to utilize him. This coaching staff does want to utilize him. Alonzo Carter, like I said, a big fan of FAM. And I think you're going to see him really, really take the Big 12 by storm this year. I am very excited to see this. Very excited. Okay, now there's another FAM that we got to talk about. FAM 2.0. Caden Luke, my friends. First of all, walk on from CDO. What are CDO kids ever done after college? Kadeem Carey, or after high school. Kadeem Carey, Blake Martinez, Tevis. CDO has been good to Arizona, so we need to be good to CDO. So, Caden Luke is a monster. He is one of the biggest. He is one of the most well put together high school kids that you will ever see. I'm not just talking Tucson. I'm talking period. He is huge, and I don't think he's going to do anything this year, although who knows, maybe he does. But I do think that he is going to be a player here at the U of A in some capacity sooner than later. He is, like I said, he is big. He is massive. He is good. He is going to be a fun player to watch, I think, progress throughout his U of A tenure. But he's not coming in here needing to put on 30 pounds to be able to contribute. He's coming in here to be able to – he's coming in here, and I think he's going to play sooner than later. Now, I don't know that he's going to play this first year, but I'll be honest with you. By next year, I think you're going to see him out on the football field in some capacity. Now, again, is he an everyday starter? No. But I will say, I do think that he will become a scholarship player at some point. And when he becomes a scholarship player at some point, I think that he's going to become a fan favorite as well. Again, you guys got to understand, he is a huge, huge, huge kid, and somebody that I think that we should all embrace. My dying wish will be to have him and Rayshawn Speedy Luke in the backfield together. We could have Fam and Fam 2.0, and that would be the all Fam backfield. But anyways, Caden Luke, I think, is going to at some point be that power back for the U of A. And if you see him up close, you know that he's just kind of a little bit different. And Arizona is very, very lucky to have him. Very good preferred walk-on. And I think that he's going to be a scholarship player at some point. Okay, now let's talk about some of the other players in the backfield. Those, the guys that we talked about, those are going to be the ones that are going to play. But there are some other players, though, that I obviously like. I like Jordan Washington. I think Jordan Washington's going to be very good, but Jordan Washington, and I've been saying this to people from day one, I think Jordan Washington needs a redshirt year, and there is nothing wrong with that. But you got to remember, he's coming in here. He's built a lot the same way that Speedy is, where he's coming in here at probably about 5'8", 165, something like that. But you watch him, and he's got a lot of speed to him. He's able to make dudes miss, and not only is he able to make guys miss, he's able to run away from him. It's kind of that. It's not the TJ Johnson speed where it's like, all right, this isn't really like you're fast, but you're not really football fast. This dude's fast. This dude can make people miss. So there's obviously a lot of that to like about him. But you also have to factor in that he's behind some guys that have just been here longer. I mean, Rayshawn Luke has been here a couple years longer than him. He's bigger, and not only is he bigger than him, he's able to make guys, like I said, he's just been around. It's easier for players like that. That's again, I'm not really breaking any news. And then with obviously Conley, when you're in your fifth year of college, you're a little bit different as well. I think a redshirt year, it would be very good. And I don't give up on running backs after a first year. That's just not something I do. Excuse me, because it takes some of these guys, it just takes a little bit longer, especially at that position where it's demanding for you to be able to pass block, for you to be able to do a bunch of other things. Now, some coaches look to not play players because they're like, oh, I can't pass block or something, even though they're just making that up. Like it was like with Mike Stoops, when they would be like, dude, why aren't you playing Kadeem Carey? Oh, he can't pass block. Well, obviously he was good enough because when Mike Hankwitz took over, guess what? Immediately Kadeem Carey started playing. Some coaches just get, little, favoritism plays in there. But I like Jordan Washington. I just think that he needs to redshirt this year. That's all. And Brandon Johnson, speedster out of Palmdale, just kind of caught in a numbers game. I like Brandon Johnson. I just don't know where he plays this year. Now, maybe next year, but he's only going to be a freshman this year, so he's got time in front of him as well. But this thing about Arizona's backfield is you got a lot of speedsters in Fam, in Jordan Washington, in Brandon Johnson. You got three dudes that can bust it at any time, and that will be something that I think Arizona fans need to keep an eye on. But there's a lot of talent in this backfield. Again, you got to add another player. There's no doubt about it. But I think after you add that other player, it should be game on. And we're going to talk about kind of the, just the skill guys across the board here at Arizona here in just a second. But so far, so good on that. Now, Monopoly Go. Monopoly Go, my friends. Okay, download Monopoly Go. Free on the App Store and Google Play. Check it out. All right, here's the deal with Monopoly Go. You know that with everybody's played Monopoly. Everybody has had the fun, immersive experience with it. And it's now it's digital. You can play it online with your friends, and it's fun. Listen, nobody's ever come away from Monopoly without two feelings: frustrated and saying, yep, I'm going to have to end up playing it again because I am going to beat somebody. That is what happens with Monopoly Go. It is great. Check it out, Monopoly Go. Download for free on the App Store and Google Play. Thanks for keeping it locked on Wildcats and making this your first listen of the day. I am your host, Mike Luke. All right, now, let's talk a little bit of, let's talk about skill positions. Overall, this is a pretty deep team. At the tight end spot, you've got a lot of talent. You've got, like I said, Roberto Miranda is going to be your starter. I had forgot that Roberto Miranda is even on the team. He's been very, very good. And then you've also got, obviously, you got Tyler Powell, you got Kean Burnett, you got a lot of players that can all play, and I think that's going to be it's going to be exciting to watch how this all develops, because there's a lot of talent at that tight end spot. And then a wide receiver, we already know you've got Teteroa McMillan, the best wide receiver in football. Then you got Kevin Green, Malachi Riley, Montana Lamonius Craig, and who knows, maybe you add a player or two coming up here. So you've got, as far as players that the quarterback can hand the ball off to, or that can, catch the ball, you've got a lot of talent for the Noah Fifita to play with. Now, there's not a quarterback in the country that I would take over Noah Fifita. And Noah Fifita, like I said, he's a game changer at quarterback. The second he came in, he was just totally different. And not only was he totally different, he was able to spread the ball around. He was able to make plays, and he was able to, just kind of get everybody involved. As the old saying goes, if you are open, Noah Fifita will get you the ball. If you are open, everybody eats with Noah Fifita. That is the best part about Noah Fifita. So that's kind of where that is. Now, let's talk about then the backup. Arizona is obviously bringing in a backup from San Jose State. Arizona, who is better than Jeff Sims? Jeff Sims, merely just joking a little bit here. Jeff Sims from Nebraska is going to visit ASU. Jeff Sims is the worst quarterback that I have ever seen in college football. It is not even close either. When you turn the ball over on 40% of your possessions, and those are direct turnovers, whether that's turnovers, fumbles, that's not good. Arizona State, you need to sign this guy up, and you need to get him out there on the field as quickly as possible. Waste no time. Chop, chop. Okay, but back to Arizona. You got Braden Dorman was a highly rated kid coming out of high school. I don't know. I just haven't seen a ton from Braden Dorman, where if, Noah Fifita goes down, that you feel like, all right, Arizona should be good. I don't love what I see out of Dorman, but who knows? Maybe he's just kind of one of those gamers that just needs to be out on the field. There are certainly players like that. But I'd like to see Arizona beef up that position. Obviously, bringing in a San Jose State kid, but I'd also like you to see bring in maybe another guy, just because if this is an all systems go season. You've got a loaded team, and if Noah goes down, you got to have a better player. Or not a better player, but you got to have somebody that's certainly capable, because you're going to have a lot of talent around them. So I'd like to see Arizona and see what they can do there. But all right, on that note, though, tomorrow we're going to talk a lot of Arizona basketball again, because Arizona is in on obviously Trey Townsend. That decision could be coming down at any point. And obviously, we will keep you up to date on that. We'll talk some more Toby Awaka, maybe another player or two, maybe an NAIA player. And of course, we're going to continue to talk about Arizona football. But as always, very, very much appreciate you all making Locked On Wildcats your first listen of the day. I'm your host, Mike Luke. Bear down, back the A. Have a great Tuesday, and we will be back with you tomorrow. As always, thanks for making this your first listen of the day.